Now the iBlend is based on an evolution of technology. So we currently are in the age of VR. So something like this, which is one of the early Oculus Rifts, is a device that projects two images, one onto each eye, and it keeps you completely immersed in the environment. They are coming out from all the companies. There's VR all over the place. And what that's doing is letting people understand and explore virtual environments. Now, for some of us, we've been working in virtual environments, rich virtual environments, for many years, and trying to get people to understand why they're important and how they feel and how you can communicate with people is a job, and it's a job that I do as a metaverse evangelist. When you put a VR headset on, though, your sense of immersion, your sense of being there, is almost instant. It requires hardly any explanation to say to somebody, can you feel where you are? And that's a very human experience. Now, these headsets are all-encompassing. They remove you from the world and put you into the virtual environment. So we have something else floating around called augmented reality. And some of the headsets try and help you do that. And with augmented reality, you need to be able to see the real world and put some extra digital information into that environment. It might just be an overlay, it might be a heads-up display, but you can do it relatively simple with something like Emerge VR or Google Cardboard. You put your mobile phone in there, it projects two images onto your eyes, one for each eye, so you get a stereo vision, but typically they have access to the camera of the device as well. So the camera can see the real world, and so the phone can attempt to put digital images over the top of them. And they can be quite effective as well. As you look around, you suddenly find things that are floating around in space. And it is good. You can also have augmented reality which looks for certain markers, certain pictures. And when it sees a picture, it can replace that picture with a model. And if the picture rotates or you move around, then the model can rotate too, because it has a frame of reference. That's all well and good, but companies like Microsoft and Google are trying to push that even further with headsets like the HoloLens and Magic Leap. Now with those, they aim to understand the world around them without any markers. They aim to be able to know where the surfaces are, where the walls are, where one thing is in front of another, and then use the digital technology to project just in front of you in a holographic style. It's not actually holography, but in a holographic style in front of your eyes. You are then able to be immersed in some content and some things that are happening, but in your physical environment. It might be as simple as having a TV screen on the wall, and it's sized to fit your wall. Nobody else can see it, only you. As you move around, it stays where it is. It stays locked in position. It's not floating around in free space. And Microsoft have shown demos with games like Minecraft, where the entire world is actually on a table. So it's tabletop gaming. And the effects are quite amazing, even just watching them as a video feed. Now I want to take, in context, I want to take some of that technology and push it even further. So I did that and invented a device called the iBlend. And the logo for the iBlend is the thing that's on the front of the book. Now the iBlend takes the kind of concepts that you have in HoloLens and in Magic Leap with some of the elements that you get with a regular virtual reality headset. But it also throws in some extra ways to control stuff with things like this, which is a headset. This one's called Emotive, and these little pieces here make contact with your skull, and it can pick up on the tiny electric signals that are going on in your brain. So it means if you relax or you tense up or you think in a certain way, you can actually send signals to control something. And it's early days for this stuff, but it does actually work. So what happens when you combine augmented reality with a headset? Well, you get something like iBlend. So Roisin gets to build for iBlend. Again, she gets to build stuff using Unity 3D. She has to patch some things out. I have to explain how iBlend works in real terms in order to expand on it and bring it into this sci-fi universe. The whole thing in Context is set today. It's set now. So the problems, the connections, the base technology is all real. The combinations maybe haven't happened yet, but we're getting there. There is obviously the extra fanciful bit of being able to move things around in the real world with a thought. And in some ways you could say we're nearly there. We're nearly there with building things with 3D printers. So you've not got anything, suddenly you've got something. But we are very, very close to understanding the world through sensors. The current holographic headsets will sense the world around them. They will detect the things that are near you. Gaming devices like the Move and like the Kinect know where something is in space. And that's relatively cheap technology and in everyone's homes. On top of that, we've got the whole wave of the Internet of Things. Now, in the Internet of Things, sensors, very small sensors, are in everything, everywhere. And they all communicate with other sensors and other devices. So that enables us to look at a view of the world. It might be the temperature coefficient around a particular environment, as lots of individual little sensors feed their information back. It might be the speed of traffic in a city and how the traffic lights are working, with every car known as a known position. That instrumentation of the world is what Roisin gets almost instantly through the device she's able to talk to. But we are getting there with being able to understand what's going on as these devices become more pervasive. So it's real world stuff. Now, I don't just stick to the real world stuff because it's science fiction. It needs to be an adventure as well. So there's all sorts of other things that Roisin gets up to, and there's a certain little bit of martial arts in there which she needs to use. She's not a martial artist, but there's ways and means to get her to be one in a sci-fi novel. There's also exotic locations, and I got to scout out some locations and use things like Google Earth to wander around the planet trying to find somewhere as a location for the book. And that was great fun, to be able to visit somewhere and do the same thing you might do for a location shoot, and kind of look around and see the names of the places and walk along the streets and get a feel for the place. And that's what I've tried to do in this book as well. So, I hope you enjoy it. It's called Context, and it's out now on Amazon. The URL's here. And of course, you can read the history of how she got to this point in Reconfigure. I hope you enjoy that. Oh, and if you could write a little review on Amazon for both books, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much.